together the children's message for today about making the rules, I was going to put in a kind of snarky comment about the golden rule being, the one who has the gold makes the rules. But I do try to be honest, and I want to offer the same children's message regardless of whether there are kids here or not. And I certainly would not have been that cynical if there were a dozen little monkeys here for the children's message. So, one of the things that I struggle with as a Christian is the impression that we are all, happy, clappy, pink cloud and unicorn kind of people who don't live in the real world. That's not the faith that I know. Today's psalm is basically asking us to make a choice in what we believe. Do we believe in the prosperity of the wicked or the providence of God? And that means my faith looks out at the world and says, look, I get it. The wicked prosper. Following the law of God does not readily lead to prosperity, but you have to make the call. The reading from Luke, a continuation of the Sermon on the Plain that we began last week, talks about physically being hit in the face, being robbed in more than one way. It talks about being hated, cursed, abused. It talks about people begging. That's all pretty real world to me. More than that, it says to engage in the real world. It says to do good and lend, expecting nothing in return. It says to love people who don't love us, to do good for people who won't return the favor. So if someone thinks that Christianity is pretending that the world isn't the way it really is, that's not what I'm hearing in the scriptures. And I get why do to others as you would have them do to you is so important and so difficult. I have been working this week to get my parents' prescriptions set up for automatic refill delivery at home under their new insurance policy. And I can say, as a former software executive, that I would never do to another daughter what these people are putting me through. It should not require multiple calls to the Philippines and to their doctor's offices to get this done. I am also sure that if I talked to every single person who made the decisions that set up all of these crazy hoops that I have to go through, none of them would have had the goal of driving me this crazy. They want to have the drugs delivered to my parents' home on an automatic refill. They want it to work without me having to call anyone. No one was trying to treat me poorly. It just kind of happened. And I'm not done with the process of setting up these prescriptions, but I can tell you, if I'm honest, that I am judging and I am condemning and I am definitely not forgiving every single person I am interacting with. I have completely lost sight of the fact that they are sons and daughters who are just trying to make the life better and safer for their parents. Just trying to do their jobs well and take care of their families and have a little time left in the day to listen to a murder mystery while playing a computer game. To some extent, I would argue that I am being polite as I get this done. I am treating them as I would like to be treated. But I am definitely judging and condemning. And that may be why the golden rule is so hard. Because yes, if I were the customer service representative who had a rooster crowing in the background, I would like the people who called me to be polite. But I don't want to be judged because my English is heavily accented. I don't want to be condemned because there's a rooster crowing in the background. And that is what Jesus is asking. To never forget that even if they are a tiny part of a huge system that reaches from the United States to the Philippines, even if their computer won't let them see what I'm looking at on my computer, even if their computer is giving a crazy answer about how many pills you need for a 90-day supply when you take 1 pill per day, pro tip, it's not 225 pills. Even with all that, they are daughters too, who are trying to do everything as well. They are beloved of God, just as I am. And the minute that I start to treat them as a machine, instead of as a person, I am saying that I am following the golden rule. That the person who has the gold makes the rules. Jesus is reminding us that we choose to do that. It is our choice. And that we have another choice. And that other choice is the one that God is offering us. To be forgiven. To be loved. To be accepted in all our imperfections and all the crazy hoops that we did not create. It's a harder way to live. But it's less cynical about the way the world